In darkness I lingered mid doubt and despair, since bondage long held me a captive to care. But Jesus delivered my soul from its chains. His precious blood cleansed me from sin's guilty stains. The world and its pleasures did tempt me to stray. I saw not the danger that lurked on the way. The toils closed around me, I knew no release. But Jesus has found me and given me his peace. Get right with God, his pardon is free. Get right with God, he's waiting for thee. Our Jesus is calling, oh come unto me. Take him, O sinner, and get right with God.
Hello, hello. I just want to share with us a quick word of inspiration that's found in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1 in particular. And it says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." This verse definitely speaks volumes in so many ways. We ask ourselves, what is wisdom? We think of Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10, where it says here, "What is wisdom? So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." And so a wise woman is one who fears the Lord, one who seeks knowledge from the one who is the prince and king of all knowledge. And it says here, a wise woman builds her house. Now, when you think of a house, I think of the parable where Jesus talks about there's two types, one that builds on sand and one that builds on the solid rock. Now, we know the story where the wise man who built his house upon a rock, the winds and waves beat that house and it fell not, versus the house that was built by the foolish man, it was built on sand and it just went down. Everything came down. It's incredible how this implication here speaks a lot to me personally, because as a woman myself, and if you think about it, according to Revelation, women can also represent the church. If you look at that as references in Revelation 12 and Revelation chapter 17, to get full details on that. But she built her house upon the rock, Jesus Christ. And in the contrast in verse 1 in Proverbs 14, it says, "But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." And so when we seek to follow and thirst after righteousness, we shall be secure, we should not be moved, and we should have everlasting life. And so the foolish woman would do the opposite. She would pluck it down, destroy what was built, or would not maintain it as it should, simply because it was not founded upon the rock. Now, in speaking of sand, I just want to clear something that's really interesting. When I think of John chapter 8, where Jesus, when the woman that was in adultery was accused by the Pharisees and so forth, Jesus wrote on sand, which means he wrote their sins on sand, of course. As Pen of Inspiration gives that more in detail. But if you think of sand, it's not permanent, right? If you write something on the sand and you kind of swipe with your hand, it goes away. So God is merciful. Even though they accused her, even though the woman was accused, their accusers, if they repent and ask God for forgiveness, their sins will be forgiven and wiped away. Whereas in the Ten Commandments, it says in Deuteronomy that the 10 Commandments were written in stone with the finger of God. And so stone is, on the opposite hand, you cannot just erase it. It's fixed. It's permanent. So just want to share that little gem with us, and hope you are blessed as we continue to seek God's Word and in spirit and in truth. Thanks for watching, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of any future notifications that we share as we continue to share Christ-centered content. Well, happy Sabbath, and time to get back to the Word. Bye for now. Other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Jesus Christ. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11. Upon this rock, said Jesus, I will build my church. In the presence of God and all the heavenly intelligences, in the presence of the unseen army of hell, Christ founded his church upon the living rock. That rock is himself, his own body, for us broken and bruised. This is taken from Desire of Ages, chapter 45, the foreshadowing of the cross.
Get right with God.